then we'll get the questions.
Could you spell your name for us first? Give us
Yes.
a title.
Okay, it is Salim, S-A-L-I-M. Is in Mary. Last name is Ucan, U-C-A-N. I have been with the organization since its inception. I'm one of the founders of the organization 15 years ago in Cleveland. My current position is the Vice President of Concept Schools in Chicago.
Are you based here? Are you based here or are you based in Chicago?
Concept, the management organization, which is a not-for-profit organization, is based in Chicago.
Right.
But we do have local offices in Ohio.
I thought I was led to believe that you kind of oversaw Ohio and you're based here in Columbus. You live in Chicago.
Yes, I do live in Chicago. My responsibilities at Concept Schools is new developments, opening new schools, working with communities and sponsors, and also communication, external communication, public relations. That's what I've been doing at Concept.
Why did you think the meeting with the state board, a press conference, and a rally today were important?
This is, let me make it clear, this is not a protest of any kind. This is not also lobbying. We are not here to influence the action of any legislators or any public official. We are here to celebrate the success, the hard work of our teachers, students, and parents, and celebrate the success that they have attained. So today we had about 400 parents, some of whom traveled as far as 3 hours away to be here, to let their voice heard, and let the public define our organization and our schools by their experiences, not by 4 or 5 former disgruntled employees' experiences.
Well, how do you answer the allegations now that the investigation by the OBE has expanded to other schools, as well as the ongoing investigation by the FBI and the FCC into some of the schools? You really haven't had a statement on that previously. What's your statement on both of those separate investigations?
Sure. Let me talk about the ODE investigation first, because that's Ohio specific. Since day one, we took these allegations very seriously. The 4 former teachers, we did not undermine their complaints and allegations. We took them very seriously, and we have communicated with ODE, with our sponsors, and also with the auditor of the state's office of full cooperation with any investigation. We are very open to any investigation by any state agency into our schools. We run very good schools, very successful schools. Like one of our schools just made the list of top high schools in the country by the Newsweek magazine this past week. We have 2 blue ribbon schools. So therefore, we welcome any investigation, and we take those allegations seriously. We're also doing our own internal investigation that if we find some mistakes and flaws in the operation of the schools, we will correct them. We will let the public know, we'll let the officials know of those. But these are ongoing pending investigations right now. What Concept and what the schools have offered thus far was nothing but full cooperation.
Have you taken any internal action? Have you dismissed any teachers or anything internally? You can talk about what you've done so far.
Not as of now, because we are, completing our own internal investigation as we speak.
What about the FBI investigation?
The FBI investigation is an investigation into Concept and a few of other schools within the Concept network related to a very specific federal funding called E-rate. Again, we are and we have been fully cooperating with the federal agencies, responding to the subpoenas that we have received. That's a pending investigation, so that's as much as I could say about the investigation, other than we are cooperating fully with them. But there have been some misinformation out there. Quote unquote 19 schools have been raided by the FBI. That's not true. 19 different locations have been visited by FBI, but they were not all 19 schools. So there were 5 vendors who had done E-rate work for the schools, and then there were 14 locations, only 7 of which were schools, and only 4 of which from Ohio. The other 3 schools were in Indianapolis and in Chicago. So in Ohio, only 4 schools have been visited by FBI, along with Concept's local offices. So I just wanted to make sure that I correct that information out.
Could you tell us where those 4 are? Because there have been other schools that apparently were notified by you not to destroy records, that sort of thing. So could you give us an idea of which schools were visited and which ones were told to maintain records?
Only the schools that have been visited, they are part of the investigation, and they have been told and not to destroy any evidence or any document, not necessarily
what were
the
those
evidence,
for?
or
Was
delete
Toledo one of
emails. Toledo is one of them, Cincinnati, and our Columbus Middle School. So 3 schools.
3 schools.
No, 3, and the 4th one is the Dayton school. 4 schools in Ohio. That's part of our cooperation with the investigation.
Have you done anything internally in wake of the testimony that we've heard from former teachers, and in wake of headlines of FBI investigation? Have you done anything yet specific? I mean, have you recognized internally problems?
It's too early for us to say that, whether we have or have not, because, again, our internal investigation, both for these allegations in Ohio and for the FBI, are ongoing investigations.
If you said much about the nature of their investigation, what is this? What do you think is behind it?
The nature of the investigation based on subpoenas, is, as I mentioned before, is completely related to E-rate, which is a federal funding that supports technology infrastructure in public schools, charter schools, and public libraries in underserved communities. And over the 15 years, as our schools are located in urban environments and underserved communities, our schools have had received funding through E-rate. But let me make a correction, though. Through E-rate funding, there's no money flowing into the school. The way that it works is you as a school, if you qualify, you develop a technology plan, you submit it to the federal FCC or Department of Education. Once they approve it, they put that plan on a public website. So the companies who are in technology, sector can go ahead and bid for it. And then you go through another process to select the vendor. Once the vendor is selected, and this is all approved by the U.S. Department of Education throughout the process. Once you do that, then the vendor comes in, does the work for the school, and then the school tells the government, federal government, that, okay, this vendor has finished the work, you can go ahead and pay the vendor. So there's no money flowing into the school. What the schools get are services and goods. So that's the way that this E-rate program works.
From your knowledge, is the alleged wrongdoing on the part of the vendor or on the part of the schools, or both?
I mean, on the subpoenas, there's no allegation, or we are, again, like I said, we are cooperating with them to find out what the allegations are, what are the concept or the schools being accused of. We don't know that yet, based on the subpoenas, and which have been made public, and you may have access to those subpoenas. Any other questions?
I would like to follow up with Angela, Ms. Eason. All of these allegations concern you as a parent, both in terms of maybe FBI looking at them and OB's looking at them for potential grade fixing, abuse of students, and things like that. Does that concern you as a parent?
It would concern me as a parent, but I have faith in my school.
Can you stand?
It concerns me as a parent, yes, but I have faith in Horizon. I'm kept abreast of things. They make sure that whatever communications we need to know, we know.
What have they told you?
I was sent a letter at home addressing that there was some things being said and allocated, and that if I had any questions or concerns, who to talk to, and who to call, and what website to visit.
Salim, could you address the suggestion that these schools are affiliated with the Gulen movement, and should that matter?
Sure. Not that sure it should matter, but sure I can answer the question. Our schools are public charter schools. They're not affiliated with any religious or political movement at all. The only connection to the mentioned Turkish Muslim scholar Fethullah Gulen is that some of the founders of concept schools, including myself, at a personal level, had been and have been inspired by his ideas, which are not much different than Horace Mann's ideas about education, that the education brings out the good in people, therefore everybody should be educated, and the scholar has been a moderate scholar and denouncing violence and promoting education as a solution to the world. The problems that the world is facing today, bigotry, hatred, war, poverty. So there are a lot of people in Turkey and around the world have been inspired by him and got involved in education. I don't think it should matter because first, it's a personal inspiration of the founders, some of the founders, not all of them. Second, it's not being promoted like myself. You know, I have been inspired by him, but I don't go around and promote his ideas, or I don't bring that to the workplace. It has nothing to do with the professional work that I do at the schools every day. For that reason, it should not matter.
With the investigations and the conversation in the community here in Columbus, and Dayton certainly, is the hiring of Mark Weaver and the hiring of a firm an acknowledgement that your message or your side of the story was not getting out?
We have been working with public relations firms. It's not, since 5-6 years ago. It's not new. We wanted to hire a local public relations firm, thinking that it would be more effective to get our messages, out there if we work with a local. That's why we hired. But I agree with you that we think our message, and like today,
It's been very difficult.
Today's, yes, today, that's been our purpose today, to get our story out there and have the public see and hear these parents. The reason that they are here and they've traveled, 3 hours from Toledo, Cleveland, Youngstown, is because they care about their schools, because they value the education that their kids get at these schools, and they wanted, to let the public know of that experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.